stop ghosting people. Toys with your emotions so fucking much, and it just sucks. Alright, this is Love is Weird, and you're back with your new one and only podcast host, me. So I did this podcast with a friend. Him and I started it together, and it was a good journey, but it wasn't like the journey, you know? And it just needed to change for him and I both, and he's doing his own stuff, and I'm doing this, and I'm super happy to do this. We are going to focus on love, sex, and therapy, because when you have love and you have sex, you probably need therapy in there somewhere, like if we're being honest. And you know who's the healthiest generation, I feel like, is this new generation. They're like, therapy is good. I'm going to talk about my emotions. And then my generation, the millennials, they're like, yeah, we want to do that too, but we're scared. And then the boomers are like, emotions are dumb. Woo! We can't wait for the election. Like, that's what they focus on. So, not me. Again, I love a good fidget spinner. Like, oh, especially if they're weighted. This one's plastic and not. But I love the weighted ones. My ADHD people, where are you at? All right, so this podcast is going to be just me. The first 20 to 30 minutes is going to be about me, catching you guys up on my life. Really, this is just like a diary for me to have therapy and talk about my feelings. And you guys are along for the ride. Come on, get in, loser. We're going shopping. It's going to be great. And then the next portion, or like half, well, whatever, the next section of the podcast is going to be me and a co-host. So the co-hosts are going to be my friends, clients turned friends, anybody who just like wants to talk about love, sex, therapy, all that kind of stuff. And you guys again are along for the ride. Shout out TikTok. Thanks for my new water bottle. Got that at a conference that I just went to, which was amazing, by the way. I went to the Military Influencer Conference, which they have every year, and I was unaware of how amazing it truly was going to be in the future. I'm going to go every year. I went this year. I brought my trainer, Brandy. Her and I went on this like cool little girls trip, and we went to Georgia. We went to this really, really cool conference, and it's just bringing all military influencers or entrepreneurs together. There's probably like 2,000 people there. There was, you know, people giving classes on how to run your social media, how to, you know, be the healthiest you inside and out, getting a blood test, making sure your hormones are correct for you to give and live your best life for your company, yourself, your family, blah, blah, blah. The whole experience really just put into perspective for me, like really what I want to be doing. I own a dog training company, and we help a lot of people. A lot of people. We're changing families' lives, and we are really, you know, affecting them. They go from having this animal that, you know, is causing everyday stress in their life to now they can take it places that they couldn't. And I mean, people are like on the brink of breaking up over these animals. And there's been a lot of relationships where you can literally see them come together and just like ease of relief go away after we, you know, help this dog fit into their life. And while we are changing lives, yes, I am very passionate about emotions, relationships, protecting your boundaries and your values. And no matter, even if it's family, like, ooh, I have goosebumps even talking about this. It's a big deal to me. It doesn't matter who it is in your life. You need to pick you always, whether or not that's like a partner, a friend, family, boss. What you gotta pick you. Be selfish a little bit. It's not even selfish, you know, you're like, you are making sure that you are protected and safe. And that's what I'm really, really passionate about. Back in our very first episode with me and my old co-host, you know, we talked about like my story. I went through domestic violence when I was in the military, served for 7 years in the U.S. Air Force, which was like amazing, loved it, wouldn't have changed anything, not even the domestic, wouldn't have changed that because it, you know, I am who I am because of what I went through. And I'm trying not to say but because I don't want to negate what I just said. And now that I'm on the other side of things, I want to take my story and my ability to come through to the other side and be a much better, stronger person despite what I went through. And sure as fuck, despite not having good leadership, literally, I remember my first sergeant. I still remember his name. I don't want to blast his name out there, but I mean, I don't know why. Sean Ben Dixon, you piece of shit. Like, fuck you. You know what? After I got into a domestic, you know what he said? Well, Airman Howard, maybe you'll date better men. Fuck you. Like, seriously? Fuck you. I think he works at Lowe's or like Radio Shack or something today. Like, fuck you. Fucking idiot. That is like the support that I had when I was in after I went through my domestic. And so like that is why I am so passionate about conflict resolution, like inviting conflict into your life to deal with it appropriately, because conflict doesn't have to be a war. I was raised with yelling, screaming, drama, bleh, bleh, unhealthy toxicity, blah, blah, blah. And I like my family's, you know, certain people of my family, love them. Yeah, like you can eat over there, I'm gonna eat over here. You know, and then I have other members of my family where like we talk a lot and I love them and they're great, but like I grew up in craziness and I just like refuse to do that anymore, especially after going through domestic. I was 21, having zero fucking support from my unit. I had 2 girlfriends that were like, ew, gross, drama, we can't do that. Like, ugh, like it just drives me crazy. And coming through to who I am now, I am just like, I need to help people that are doing the same thing, have shitty leadership. Like I need to be there to like be a voice and be a light at the end of the tunnel, because I didn't have that. Like when I was going through it, I, you know, was just like, well, I don't want to be in trouble and I want to be a canine handler so bad. I will do whatever it takes, even not asking questions when, you know, people are fucking me over. Like I didn't really know I was, and I'm like getting off. This is not what this episode is about. I didn't really realize what was happening when it was happening. And that always sounds so silly when people say it, but when you're in it and you're young and you're dumb and you're, you know, it happens. You have no idea like what it, even when I was in the domestic relationship, I was just like, oh, I don't have a lot of things to compare to. I feel like this is kind of fucked up, but like I didn't know. So anyways, this new version of Love is Weird is going to be based around me wanting to be a voice for those in need. And then also some episodes are just going to be silly and bullshitty and, you know, venting and blah, blah, fun, right? Okay, so exciting news. I have a boyfriend. Oh, he's so amazing. Love him. He's great. So we're going to talk about ghosting, because before I met my boyfriend, I got ghosted. And like, thank God I got ghosted, because if I didn't get ghosted, I wouldn't have been on the apps. We met on the apps. Ooh, like I wouldn't have been on the apps to like find him. Okay, so this is the story. So I was, you know, single, and I was like, oh, I'm so tired of the dating apps, because like they're exhausting, right? Like I don't even think anybody loves them. Like my theory about people on dating apps, and this is not true for my boyfriend, I have the only good one. Women are on the apps because they actually want to find a relationship, and it's hard to find people in the wild. Men, is my theory, men are on the dating apps because they are trying to recover from some sort of trauma that they haven't talked about, don't want to talk about, don't know how to talk about it. And so they're looking for like, ooh, validation and sex and ooh, you know, it's easy to like be distracted. And so we're looking for different things. Like women are like this and men are like, you know, everywhere but. And again, not my boyfriend. He's great. He's amazing. So I was like, I'm done with dating apps. I don't want to do this. And I was, you know, like I had not deleted it off my phone, but I like really wasn't looking at it. And so I went to a comedy show with one of my best gals, and I usually have dreadlocks in, which I look very different right now. But so I had dreadlocks in, and we went to this comedy show, and this guy was like, yo, your dreadlocks are dope as fuck. And I was like, yes, oh, thank you, so amazing. So after the show, he didn't talk to me, and I like challenged myself to like, okay, I don't want to meet dudes on the dating apps. I have to like, you know, this is like a clear, I feel like, indicator this dude, you know, is into me. I should go talk to him. So I did. I went and talked to him. It was so scary. Like, why is it scary? I feel like, you know, when you talk to someone of the opposite sex, you're on the playground and you're just like, do you want to be my friend? Please don't say no, because I'm shy. It's like, it's so stupid. And then like actual little kids, they'll just be like, hey, You want to be my best friend? And they're like, yep. And then they'll just sit there and color and be like, yeah, we're best friends now. Like, it's so easy when you're a kid. So, like, it's not even an amazing story, so we don't need to go into details. But pretty much we went on like 3 dates, and it was like awesome-ish. You know, when you are like dating somebody and they're like going on dates, right? Dating, like courting. You're like dating somebody and there's like things, red flags, but just things where you're like, oh, I wish there was more effort. Oh, I wish there was, you know, more excited about me. Oh, I wish I was more excited about them. But it's good enough, you know, and that's important to like, that happens. That's important to not just be like, oh, it wasn't on fire, like, bye. You know, when you first meet people, you have to, you know, give it time to like grow into something. And then sometimes, like with my current boyfriend, like, oh, we met each other and we were just like, is this a soul connection? This is amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, we will get to that story after this, like, kind of lame one. So I was just like watching. I was like, you know, super, like, I don't want to say he's a super nice guy. I don't even really know him. You know, we went on like 3 dates. And like, it was good-ish. And then the communication just like trailed. You girls, you can always tell when you're like, oh, I'm about to get ghosted, right? So it was like trailing off. And I listened to this guy on YouTube called Stefan Speaks. I'll put his information below. I really, really like his stuff. He really helps. He has a channel for women and men, and he helps them just like work through this stuff. Figure it out, you know, because it's really easy to like go talk to your girlfriends about stuff and then they're kind of in the same position, or they're burned, or they're scorned, or maybe they're in a relationship but they're not happy. Or maybe they're super happy, you know, it depends on like where their life is. Have they solved their own traumas, blah, blah, blah. What you ask them, their response is going to be what they're currently going through. And if you're not like, pretty much if they're fucked up, they're going to give you a fucked up answer, you know? And I'm not saying that about my girlfriends, but I'm just saying, like, keep that in mind when you go talk to people. If they're going through shit, they're going to give you an answer that is like mirroring what they're going through. So if you're just like, hey, this guy's like not texting me, like, should I text him back? Should I like ignore him? Like, what should I do? Like, somebody who's like in a fucked up position is going to be like, girl, fuck him. He doesn't want you. Fuck him. On to the next. If he doesn't want you, he's an idiot, which I don't agree with that. Just because somebody doesn't want you, that doesn't make them an idiot. You can totally have preferences, and you can totally have people that you're into and you're not into. Like, it doesn't make you a bad person. So just because somebody doesn't want you doesn't mean that they're fucked up, is what it is. I said what I said. Okay, so I was watching Stefan Speak stuff, and pretty much he was talking about, okay, if you're ghosted, you could say this. It is a mature answer, and so I used it, and I texted this dude, and I said, hey, are we, and I was so scared I was like, I'm so scared to text this. This is vulnerable and lame and la la la. I don't even know why I was scared. But I was just like, hey, so-and-so, are you still interested in getting to know each other? Because he was out of town. He was like not messaging me, blah, blah, blah. And he was like ecstatic and was like, yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see you. Oh my gosh, let's hang out on like Tuesday. How's your week going? And I was like, wow, I did not expect it to go like that. And then I texted him back and I was like, this motherfucker is not going to text me back. He didn't. Shocker. Like, never heard from this man ever again. And so this is where the story gets good and romantic and amazing. So I was like right on my phone, like, I'm sad, blah, blah, blah. And it is sad, right? Like getting ghosted all the time, it's sad. You're like excited. So, you know, it's stop ghosting people. It is like toys with your emotions so fucking much. And it just sucks. Like in this case, like, thank you so much, person, for ghosting me. We'll call him Skater Boy because he was a skater boy. Said, see you later, boy. Right? We all love Avril. Okay, so I'm like, oh, I'm sad, blah, 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 right? Like, gross, maybe, gross. So I get to my boyfriend and I see him and I'm like, he's cute. I like his hair. He's like, you know, athletic, into, you know, sports and stuff. And on his profile it says like, oh, I'm only going to be here for a day and then I'm like leaving. And I was like, well, whatever. So we're talking. And then we FaceTime later that day and it was just like seamless. And we're about, what was that? We're both laughing and it was great. And then I was like, well, let's meet up for lunch. Whatever. Like, you're leaving. That's fine. That's cool. Let's meet up for lunch. And So we met up for lunch, and we actually didn't even eat food. And like, we just sat there and like talked. We literally had an hour and a half because he literally had to leave and then drive and then whatever. So we literally talked for an hour and a half. And I just remember thinking, like, this man is so cute. And he's like bubbly and talkative, and like, I'm talkative. And so if I think you're talkative, like, yes, this is great. Because I remember saying, a while ago, like, I'm never dating somebody who's not like an extrovert, or like, I don't need like an extrovert. I need someone to be like silly with. Like, I need someone to be just stupid with. Like, I want to laugh. I want to do dumb things. Like, I call it cardboard box fun. Like, I want to be able to just sit in a cardboard box with somebody and just like have fun. And like, I can do that with him. I need to come up with like a nickname for him. Oh, I'll work on that. Okay, so we're having lunch and we're not eating any food or getting like nothing to drink, nothing to eat. We're just sitting there just like talking, and then we're like also talking about like relationships and therapy and blah, 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 family. And like the answers this man was giving me, I was just like, oh, green flag, green flag, green flag, green flag, green flag. Like, this is amazing. And I was like, stop. Like, in my head, I'm like, oh, this sucks that like he's leaving. Like, this dude is so cool. And like, he's attractive and he's awesome. And oh my gosh, he's amazing. So I go to drop him off because he didn't have a car. He's visiting. So I drop him off, and we were both like, oh, we want to see each other again. He was like, well, I'm going here for work. I'm going to Vegas for work. Just saying. And I was like, well, I'm addicted to Google Calendar. I pull up my calendar, and I'm just like, well, I don't work those days. And he was like, all right, cool. And I was like, well, let's decide now. Am I going or am I not? In that moment, I was like, am I going to scare this man? Shit. And he loved it. He was like, all right, let's fucking go. And I was like, let's go. So I go. It's amazing. And we start dating on that trip. And now, like, happily ever after. Ta-da. Now I'm going to Brazil this month. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Funny, not so funny. Also, I was working on Spanish for like 6 months. And now I have to learn Portuguese, which I'm excited about. However, they are not the same. And it is hard. It's so hard. But it's fun. I love it. I love it. And my Spanish is not that bad. I actually got my nails done the other day, and I could hold like a whole conversation with a nail tech in Spanish. I was impressed with myself, and it was very nice of her to like indulge me in my gringa Spanish. Loved it. So nice of her. So all of this to say, thank you, Scared Boy, for ghosting me. Loved it so much, because if it wasn't for the ghosting, I never would have met my boo. And that is why I think change is always good. Like, when things end, it is always a good thing. And it's just crazy to sit here and think about, like where I was. I literally remember talking to one of my best girlfriends as I was sitting in her chair. She does my hair. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do for the holidays. Like, I just had my birthday. This is like 6 months ago. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do for my birthday, for Christmas. Me and my family do not get together and do anything like that. They're like, ew, holidays. Ugh, we're allergic. We're allergic to like honest emotions. Can't do it. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, my number one thing is I do not want to be codependent to my friends. I don't want to be like, hey, because I'm alone, you have to invite your third wheel ginger friend. And like, I have to be there for everything. Like, I'm a cool auntie to a lot of my friends' kids. But like, that doesn't give me a default position at the table for Thanksgiving, which I do have. Shout out to my girlfriend, Brittany. She's amazing. She always does invite me to stuff, which I love, but like, it's not expected. I appreciate it. It's not expected. And so that is important for me to have independence and in my life, and not codependency on my friends. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, Mare. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do for my birthday. I don't know what I'm going to do for Thanksgiving or Christmas or fucking New Year's, right? And if you're alone, my birthday's in October. So it's October, November, December, January. Those are all like the holidays, right? And then you also got Halloween in there. But like, that's a lot of holidays in a row. It's not that bad. You got like, say you started like January, right? You got New Year's. Then you got, Valentine's Day. And then then you got a while. Then you have, April, you got Easter. You got a while, right? So you'll be like, oh, I'm sad. Okay, I got a while to recover. But like in my case, it's like October, November, December, January, like punch in the gut every time, you know? So I was like fucking sad, genuinely sad. And then, but I don't let that get me down. I still love love, even though I was sad. And I just was like, no, it's like the universe will provide. I'm not like a big like religious person, but like God, the universe would, I'm big on calling it the universe, but like whatever you want to call it, you do that. I was like, the universe is it's gonna work out. Like it's gonna provide, it's gonna happen. And then I met the skater boy, ghosted me. Thank you, thank God. And then I met my boo, and it's amazing. And I just am like so grateful for being ghosted. And I really, really leaned on Stefan Speaks for a lot of just like unbiased, you know, information. And he even says like, ladies, you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing X, Y, Z. And so he's not just out here like, well, he ain't the man for you, so move on, girl. Like he's giving you real time advice, and I love it. And ghosting is shitty. People shouldn't do it. People should really be like, hey, I had a great time, Britt, but like, I'm just not feeling it. You are a very nice girl, but it's just like not for me. Boom, high five, changeover, see you never, have a good life. But like, no, I've been ghosted a lot, and that's okay. That's okay, girl. We all have. I met somebody recently. I was like, have you ever been ghosted? She was like, no. I was like, or you're like the coolest bitch ever. I don't know, but I think she's lying. And we all get ghosted. Like, you even get ghosted by friends. I've been ghosted by friends. Like, not in a long, long time. It's probably like 20. And it's a thing on them. Like, people don't know how to be vulnerable and say, like, hey, I'm just not into it. Because then, like, what if they hurt your feelings? What if they just, like, literally don't even care? Which you don't want to be dating these people anyways. But when I was, like, dating, I, decided I'm not going to ghost anybody because it sucks. And I went on a few dates, and one date, I don't feel like you owe people much when you're dating, but I do feel like when you don't want to continue to see somebody, that telling them, hey, I had a great time, you're wonderful. Don't even say that if you don't want to, but hey, I had a great time. It's just it's not compatible for me, or I don't see, a romantic future with you or anything. Like, do it for you and not because you want to protect their emotions, because like you're not in control of other people's emotions, but like do it for you, because every time that I was in a position where I was like, I'm like not feeling them, it's so easy to just be like, hey, goodbye, ghost, and float away. It's so easy to do that, but it takes like strength and courage to like be brave and say like, hey, I'm not into this. And you don't have to do whatever you want to do, but for me, it was a challenge. Like, I didn't want to say, hey, I wasn't into this. And, I didn't want to hurt their feelings. That's like, I think that's really what it came down to, was like, I didn't want to hurt their feelings. But like, it's not about hurting people's feelings. For me, it was about just being honest with myself. And then every time I said like, hey, I'm like not into you, it also brought awareness to my psyche of like, why wasn't I into them? What did I want in a partner? What did I wish that the date I was on had been like? And who do I wish that it would have been like? Not that I wish they looked different or whatever. I remember one day I went on, they were just saying like, you do voice notes. You're like, oh, this is cool. Chemistry. Awesome. When you're in person, it's different. And so we went on this date, and I just was like, he just kept saying these things, where he was like putting himself down, and then he just said like crude things, just like motor pool mouth shit, like in the military. And also, I don't want to date any military ever again. And I'm not winning. I made that come true. I was like, I don't ever want to date somebody else that's military or prior military. And look what I got now, right? So I was on this date, and I just was like, that's not for me. And then later when I texted him, like, hey, bro, I'm not into it, it then made me think about, like, why wasn't I into it? What do I want to be in? Like, who do I want to date? What do I want that experience to feel like? What do I feel like on the inside when I'm not into something with somebody? Why wasn't I into it? So it brought a lot of clarity for me of how to date better. And I think going on one date and being very, very aware of you not being into it or being into it is okay. Like, I do not believe that you have to, like, date it until you hate it. I saw that on a matchmaking show. Like, you know, very, very quickly in your soul, and, like, especially women have, like, very good intuition and can, like, read vibes and auras or whatever you want to call it very, very well. And so listen to that. When you start to just go like, hey, bro, I'm not into this. Good luck, but it's not for me. It just provides like a true north for you when it comes to like, who do you want to surround yourself with? Who do you want to date? Who do you want to be friends with? Like, who do you want as your family? Just because they're family, it doesn't mean they have to be family. And so for me, I used the text message of saying like, hey, I'm not into this as a way to get me to where I am now with the partner that I have now. I could not be with my current partner if I didn't know who I was inside and out. Like, I know myself very, very well at this point in my life, and so does he. And like, him and I met at the perfect time in both of our lives. You know, he's been through his stuff in life, I've been through my stuff in life and healed. And, you know, that was something big for me is this is what I said when I was single, is my next partner, my next long-term relationship, they're going to be healed from what they went through, or they are going to be healing, because you're not done really, right? But there are people who have started and have, you know, moved on from things and they're a better person. And there are people who are just like, doesn't happen, like my family. They're not healed from their shit, you know? And that's why we're not close. And so, you know, he's a very mature person. He's very silly, which I love, but he's mature and he's emotional. He's in touch with his emotions, and he has like such a clear head on him. And I'm just like so blessed the universe like brought him to me. And in it all, like finding him, I really like give credit to like me putting in the work to go, who do I want to date? What do I want to date? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Not so much like what does it look like, but like what does it feel like? That is the most important part. What does it feel like? Okay, so the next portion of this is going to be me and a co-host shooting the shit about ghosting and thank you for ghosting me type of stuff. So if you like this, watch all of our other podcasts and listen in, because we're going to be talking about love, sex, and therapy and everything else in between. And if any of you guys have a good idea for an episode, please, you can message us. Our email is loveissoweird@gmail.com, because it is. And we're going to have an Instagram, a TikTok, all of that. And so if you want to help contribute to the show, let me know. Also, if you want to be on the show, come on, we can do virtual guests. Okay, this is Merritt. She's one of my besties. She's a hairdresser in Richmond. She's amazing. So if you need your hairs cut, go to this chick.
This past weekend, I was, at home visiting family, and my aunt, when I met her, she was 18. And so to me, she's always been an adult, always been older than me.
How old were you when you met her?
Well, I'm guessing I was 8, because this weekend she says, they were asking, somehow we got talking about my age. She was like, I'm going to be 62. Do I look like I'm going to be 62? And I was like, hold up. You're only like 10 years older than me. Like, how?
You feel like they're like 30 years older
than you.
Yeah,
I'm like, how is it that, like, she's always been like a parent to me, The age gap is so gigantic when you're little, even though it's not that big,
When I went home, I thought my cousin Owen, who, when you're a kid, you're like, I was older, so I'm like, like you ain't shit, pretty much when you're a kid, right? He's fucking 3 years younger than me. Or what? He's 30. I'm 34. Like, I always thought I was like
yeah.
You have an unrealistic view. You're like, oh, I'm 20 years older than you, and that doesn't fucking make sense.
Well, so the uncle that this aunt is married to, he's older than the youngest uncle, and I remember when he was 13 years old. But what I guess I never thought about was, if I can remember when this uncle was 13 years old, I clearly was old enough to kind of have that thought,
You were like 9.
Yeah. So we were clearly way closer in age than a 13-year separation, But when you're little, like that gap, it seems like this. And
yeah.
now I'm just kind of like, wait, wait a minute.
But yeah, my cousin Owen has 2 kids. And I'm like, and he's like a good dad. And I'm like, you have like emotional awareness and what the fuck?
I think that a lot about some friends that I have who are younger than me, who have kids and are, I remember when I met them and we were young and partying and being wild and thinking I could never see you as a parent, and now all of a sudden
Oh my God.
they are a parent.
You're like, and they're good.
Yeah, and they're good. And I'm like, it's so wild. And somehow I am not a parent. Just, not that it's a bad.
Do you think you'd be a good parent?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but.
Not until you find out.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I would like to think so, but yeah. But I do think people say being a parent ages you, but
I believe it.
And maybe that's true, but I also think the person who said that made that comment in reference to like,
were they a parent?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was my other cousin who said that because we were talking about how a lot of us look really young, but Olivia, my younger sister, everyone has always thought that she was older than me, and I think partly her being a parent.
She got some gray hairs. She's tired.
When you look at the two of us and you're like, oh, she has kids and she doesn't, you're like, oh, okay, she must be older because she has kids. It's like that society thing, like, oh, you're a parent, so you have to be this age, Like, I look at clients and, I mean, well, granted, I think some of them do look a lot older than me. I think also because they're parents, I think of them as older than me. And then when I find out that they're younger than me, I'm floored,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I always thought of you as like my dad's age. But I think of myself as being 25, and I mean, I know it's, yeah.
So maybe kids one day? Maybe. We have to not get ghosted before kids come, right?
How about most recently when...
Oh my God, wait, is this the farm guy?
No.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I mean, I think so. I ghosted him, though.
Wait, hold on. We can't... How do you accidentally ghost somebody?
Because I think that, I enjoy talking to him, and
we're talking about the farm guy.
The farm guy, yeah. And I viewed him as somebody that I wanted to be a friend, but, he lives so far away.
Colorado?
Yeah, he lives in Colorado, and I don't want to live that far away from my parents, currently, so I don't see it as a situation that could ever actually...
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Be something. Yeah, he has a 16-year-old kid, like, and then the mom lives out there, like, I would never ask anybody...
He's, like, looking for, like, a wife, you think?
Well, I mean, it's never really said, but probably. Or probably some kind of companion to be out there, close to him.
And he's in the middle of nowhere, yeah.
Far away, long term, So I don't really see it. So I guess it's never in my mind been, like, a top priority, but I enjoy talking to him. And just with everything that's been going on in my life, I mean, I have a hard time sometimes texting back friends that are here, So
you ghosted him because you got busy?
Yeah, I just got distracted.
Did he ever message you, or did you guys ever talk again?
Not yet, but I will say that it is on my to-do list, which is very long. But it is on my to-do list to actually,
so like why not just do it like
hey,
today?
I didn't mean to
like why not just do it today? Like right now.
Oh, right now? You want me to message him right now?
I mean, like, why not?
Well, I mean, I guess because we're in the middle of doing something else, but...
What are you going to text him? I hate you?
No, I was going to text him and just say, hey, I didn't mean to, like, just disappear on you. I have all this stuff going on that's, like, really been in the center of my mind. And,
but, like, ultimately, you're not a good fit for him. Yeah, are you going to say that to him? Because if you just say, like, oh, I've been really busy, then it implies that, like, when you become not busy, you want to talk to him again. Right? And
well, okay, so I have been thinking a lot about that because I think that, to me, logically, it makes sense that we aren't a fit romantically, But at the same time, you never know what somebody else is thinking, and I don't want to misrepresent myself. You know, like I definitely want to.
So you're keeping Colorado open?
No, I don't want to keep them open in that sense, but like I think it's also nice to know people. You know, like to make friends. Like okay,
but like I don't think men want friends. That's the thing is like I think you are very open to friends as like who you are as a person, but I don't think men on dating apps want friends.
You are probably.
I wish we had a dude sitting here.
But I think that like
younger, like in their 30s, with a positive outlook.
I'm gonna call somebody over really quick. I think that I don't think you're wrong. I just think that like just in case, you know, prevent
just in case what?
Just in case he's okay with just being friends, like just okay knowing.
Yeah, but what are you guys gonna do? Like send each other memes and gifs and.
Well, no, it's not like I never go to Colorado. Like I've been out to Colorado several times.
And then what?
I have friends that I like to go visit, so it's like.
But are you gonna go there and not fuck him?
Yeah, but I also have other friends that I will go there and not fuck.
No, I believe you. I believe you would have that intention, but fully I believe that if you guys were friends and you came to Colorado and saw him, he would be like, "Oh, okay, this is my fuck buddy." Like just different.
It's possible, but that's why I feel like I've been thinking like I need to be very specific in what I say to him, like in my.
You're lying. I won't.
Well, the crazy thing is like I can understand picking up and just going and just feeling like, oh, my life is crazy, I just need a break. But I would, if I was talking to somebody that much, especially initiating the conversation, I definitely would be like, look, I'm at a stressful point in my life. I don't want you to feel like I'm ghosting you. I gotta get out of town. This
is where
I can't talk to you.
Right. This is where I feel like when you're first talking to someone, I feel like you don't really owe them much. If you do, like, be like, hey, bro, I'm not into it. Like, I feel like it's very nice. But 3 weeks, you owe somebody something. I feel like you owe them something. I really felt like he owed me. Like, hey, I'm gonna be like MIA for 5 days, and he didn't. And then, I was like, this is one straw. I'm going to talk to him about it. And, like, don't let them show you twice type of thing. So I pretty much was just like, hey, I don't like this. It made me feel XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not a fan of this. If you do this again, like, I'm not going to be here. He was like, no, I, like, totally understand, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, he did it again. And he just disappeared for, like, the weekend. And I was like, there's a girl. Of course there's a girl. He lives like 2 hours from me. He went like, you know, to the mountains, and then all of a sudden he's just like gone. And then he bounced back around. I was like, no. Like, Tavi, I'm not into this. Like, I have a lot of fun talking to you, but like, this is silly. Like, don't pretend to do this if you're really doing this. Like, I don't know what you're doing or who you're with. It's not my, like, I don't need to know who you're with, but like, don't pretend because like you can't bullshit me. I know like what you're doing. And I've had fun getting to know you, but like I just can't do this anymore. And he pretty much was like, oh, okay. This is right before I went to Columbia. And he was like, okay, well, let me know like if you ever want to like talk again or something. I'd still love to pick your brain as an entrepreneur. And I was like, what the fuck ever. So I went to Columbia, came back, and I was like, hey man, because he's Colombian.
Right.
So I went to like where he's from, and I came back. I was like, hey, I'm back from. I was just like, let me benefit of the doubt, whatever. I was like, hey, I'm back from Columbia. He was like, oh shit, that's cool, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, and then nothing. I was like, okay, well, like loud and clear, bro. Like I'm not. And then I saw him like 2 weeks ago online with like a girlfriend, and I'm like, cool, super cool. I'm glad you're happy. But, dude, other stuff that I've heard is, and I believe it, is that men date for proximity. Like, what is easy? They're lazy, right? They're fucking lazy.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. But, I mean,
I definitely feel like I wasted fucking time. Because even when we were talking every day for fucking 3 fucking weeks, I was like, this is dumb. Why am I doing this? But this shit around here in Richmond, like, ain't it. So I was like, I'm willing to try something else.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, that's why I was like, friends with this guy who...
You can do, like, code names for them if you want.
We'll call him Vermont. Like,
ooh, sexy Vermont.
So, you know, we met. He doesn't live in town, and I wasn't really sure about him, but he messaged me. I think on one of my things it was like, just be honest, like.
That's what his profile said?
No, that's what mine said. Somewhere in my thing it said, just be honest. So his first message to me was, okay, deal.
I remember you telling me about this guy. That means, okay, I'm going to lie to you.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't live there now, but two of my children live there. And as soon as these other ones are out of the house next year,
I have a refill?
I think that I'm going to, I might consider living there. And so I said, and he's like, you never know. And I was like, you know what? You're right. You never know. Okay, cool. Well, we can start a conversation. And so we did, and we went back and forth. And he seemed like super nice. And,
thank you.
You know, whatever. And then things got a little, like, slow. But, I mean, I don't know. People...
You guys had met in person or no?
At this point, no. And I wasn't so concerned about, you know, things not being like... Because you talk to so many people on those things, you know? And I get, like, everybody's talking to so many people and whatever. So one weekend, I messaged him and I was like, oh, I haven't talked to you this week. Sorry, blah, blah.
It is like a chore to fucking keep up with people.
It's a lot of work. Like I was like, I don't think that I can even do this. Like I don't have
it's a fucking job.
Friends, let alone
and it's
this.
And it's surface level conversations.
Yeah, it's hard to But so long story short, he messaged me back and then was like, hey, last minute, but I'm gonna be in town tomorrow. Do you want to meet up? And I was like, yeah, let's meet up. And so we did, and he was way cute.
Wait, when was this?
Oh.
I remember you telling me this.
The week before I got COVID.
When was that?
August? It was sometime in the beginning of August, I think. And I met up with him at Bamboo, and I was like, oh, wow, he looks way younger in person, way hotter.
Your pictures are so ugly.
You look like such a dad. I thought conversation was really good. Like it flowed. There was no awkwardness. Everything was great. And you know, we said goodnight. I asked him before he left. I asked him how long or how many times he comes to town, and he said, you know, not quite once a month, but you know, every 5 to 6 weeks. And I was like, okay, cool. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. Like, we didn't make plans to see each other again. But I also was like, you know, he doesn't know exactly when he's coming to town. I don't know what I'm doing, whatever. But then I got home and I sent him a message and I was like, oh, please let me know that you made it home okay, because he was driving from Richmond to, you know, 2 hours from here. Hour and a half. I don't know where he was going. But, and I said, I hope I get to see you again. And his response was, I'm home. Thank you for coming out to meet me. And that was an easygoing conversation, something to that effect. And I didn't think much of it at the time. My other friend, she was like, oh. And I was like, really? And so then I presented it to a couple of guys who were like...
At dinner on Mondays?
Yeah, at Monday dinner. And they were like, oh, no, it's fine.
Wait, no, it was Chris and it was Joe.
And Chris, Joe, and she.
What did she say?
Oh, they all said the same thing. They were like, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that. If he didn't like you, he wouldn't have responded to you at all.
What?
Everything.
But did he ghost you after that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much he was saying you're boring?
Or we got along, but I don't know what he was saying. Like,
you never heard from him again?
I don't think I was boring. Like, we had a good conversation. Like, it was back and forth. Like, we equally asked each other questions.
Yeah.
He asked me a bunch of questions.
Yeah, you had fun.
I asked him questions about him. There was never any pause. I don't know where the disconnect was. And his response was like, you know, can't remember exactly what he said, but something like, you know, that was so easy. It was really easy talking to you, basically, is what he was saying. And the guys were like, no, I would give it some time. I wouldn't take that bad. He doesn't necessarily know when he's going to be back in town. He does travel off.
See, but I feel like they're always, maybe not cheat, I don't know. But I feel like they're men, right? And they're logical men. And they're also not like fuckboys. And so I feel like they're on a more logical side of like, men are not assholes and pieces of shit side.
But I didn't take this man to be a fuckboy. Like, he seemed like a man with a...
This was the guy with the owl on his stomach.
Not that guy. Not at all that guy. That guy...
I need pictures.
I don't have any pictures.
Oh, yeah. You showed me that dude's TikTok. Total fuckboy. Yeah, no, he's like out there doing dances.
Snapchat. Yeah. He's total fuckboy. Not the guy we're talking about. He had a really good job. He traveled a lot for work. He has like 4 kids. He was like totally like loves his kids and does all this stuff with his kids. We had like some really good conversations when we met in person. Everything seemed to be great. He, you know, his comment was, you know, you were really easy to talk to. I don't remember the exact words, but that was the implication. And, you know, my one friend was like, oof, sorry. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so then I asked these other guys, and then these guys were like, oh, no.
Wait, who did you ask? And they were like, ugh. Was it female?
Yeah.
Was it Erica?
Yeah. And so...
but she was right.
Yeah, she was right. But I was like, I mean, I don't know. You know, it didn't give me that initial feeling. So I thought, well, I don't know. Let me get a male perspective. So, right, I didn't hear from him. And then we went out on a Sunday night. By Thursday morning, I had woken up with COVID.
Wait, when I brought you groceries and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I texted him and was like, hey, just FYI, I have now come down with COVID. I don't know. And so he wrote me back and he was like, oh my God, that sucks. I've had it before, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for the heads up. I just tested. I'm okay. You know, hope you get well soon. I never heard from him again. And I was like...
Do you feel like he owed you... Maybe owed is not the right word, but do you feel like he owed you a like, hey, it was nice to meet you, you ain't it, girl?
I don't know that I was owed it, but I think that it's nice when you have like, I thought that we had good conversation up until that point. Granted, I didn't think it was like this, oh, we're texting each other and it was like fiery and, you know,
it was just meh.
But it was more than that. Like I found him to be an intriguing person. Like he seemed like he had like stuff going on. He liked to read. He liked to write. He had, you know, he was an interesting person, not just somebody who was out there trying to get laid or...
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, for me anyways, it's hard to be, fiery about anybody on some app where all you do is see a picture of them and some things that they're posting about themselves. Who knows? Maybe they posted it about themselves, or maybe their sister or best friend or something.
It is hard to trust what is on there because it's also like a facade, and it's also just like, now like my boyfriend now, when I met him on there, I was like sad swiping and I found him and I was like, oh, Brazilian. Oh, perfect. I love Brazilians. This is like my 3rd Brazilian, you know? He was like, third and final, you're done.
Third time's the charm.
Right. But when I found him on there, I was just like, whatever. We were texting a little bit, and then I asked him if he wanted to video chat. He was like, yeah, like, absolutely, let's do it. And then we had, like, great chemistry on the video chat. And, like, if there wasn't a video chat, there probably wouldn't be anything today, because the video chat is what launched us into, like, a date. And for me, it's, like, when I'm on the apps... Are you still on the apps?
Oh, no, huh?
Is that because they suck, or because you're, like, with people?
No, 100% because they suck. I couldn't handle it anymore. Like, I couldn't handle the fact that... like, it just got to the point where it was like, you know, okay, I had an actual date scheduled with somebody, and then got ghosted.
Wait, was this the bowling guy?
Yeah, the bowling guy. And I'm like, I don't even understand what happened in those couple of days from you asking me if I wanted to go out, and then that day happening, and like you deciding
It fucking sucks.
I don't want to talk to you anymore, and I'm not going to show up. I'm not even going to give you the decency to cancel the date. I'm just going to completely ghost you. And I'm like, I'm really not sure what happened, because we didn't really we set up the date and like said a couple of things to each other, and then it was like
nothing
over.
Do you think on his I always try to be like, what the fuck actually maybe fucking happened, right? Like, do you think he forgot? Do you think he just was like, I'm not into, like, what the, because I would never do that to somebody. You would never do that to somebody.
I mean, I think that if you forgot, that's
because he would, wait, this was the guy that you saw in person.
Oh yeah.
You saw him.
I saw him later, yeah, much later, yeah.
I can't believe, and nothing.
Well, he was on a date. He was clearly on a date.
You're like, he's gonna ghost you. Don't go bowling.
Don't sleep with him. Yeah, in that instance, like, because now all I think about him is he sucks as a person. Yeah. You know, like, you don't even have the common decency, like, on any kind of level, like, as a human being, you suck. Because you asked me to do this date with you. You made the plan.
Like, you initiated, you made it.
It was your idea. And then you're just gonna disappear. Like,
okay, like,
at least just say, hey, I've changed my mind, or hey, I was also talking to this person and we decided that this is where we're gonna go, so I'm not gonna see anybody else. Yeah, cool. Like, it's just like, I wasn't super invested in him, but at the same time, it's like, it breaks you down in your sense of humanity and people, and just like,
oh yeah, it makes you not trust people.
Yeah, why can't we just be real because somebody's not being real with you? Like, I don't get it. Like, you made these plans. Like, okay, fine, you want to cancel them. Like, but you think that my time is not valuable enough that I set aside this time for you. I said, okay, and perhaps I've declined other plans that could have been great because I've said, no, I'm going to do this.
Ghosters are avoidance. And if you dated that person, they would be an avoidant. And I think people that ghost are avoidants, and I think they're avoidant in their whole entire life. Yeah, I think ultimately, like, for this episode, ghosting comes down to avoidance, and I think people that are raised with avoidant behaviors will ghost people, and ultimately, people are gonna ghost forever. And you, as an individual, especially a female, like, whoever's listening to this or watching this, it's like, men are gonna ghost you, women are gonna ghost you. Be thankful that they ghost you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, they've saved you some trouble as far as certain things go, but I also think that when you, like, Vermont guy, I think that we had talked long enough. I don't know how long it was. Maybe it wasn't that long, but in my mind, I felt like we had talked enough to establish a relationship to the point where, instead of just, like, all of a sudden disappearing, saying, hey, I like you and respect you enough to know, like, and I don't know what they could have said, but I just want, like, this is never gonna go anywhere. I like you enough to be your friend. I like you enough to know that
they're not gonna say that.
Well, no, I know they're not gonna say that, but I'm saying, like, to know, like, where I could just randomly text them out of the blue, like, oh, this made me think of you, haha, and not be like, oh, you're thinking of me? Like, no, yeah, like, we were friends, and this is like a friendly thing.
But I genuinely don't think that men talk to women outside of I want to fuck you.
Well, like, you're probably right. Men
99% of the time.
men and women, generally speaking, can't be friends.
Okay, this has been an episode on ghosting and a lot of other things. Please like, share, subscribe. Please give us a 5-star if you whatever platform you're on. If you want to write to us, talk to us, give us an episode to do, that is going to be loveissoweird@gmail.com. Merritt, thank you for joining us. If you need your hair done, go to Merritt. She's great. I'm going to drop all her details below. And this has been on us bullshitting on ghosting and a lot of other things.